You know the feeling. You've got something to do, a question that needs an answer, and you turn to one of these new, super powerful AI tools for a little help. It all starts with something so simple, an action we barely even think about anymore.
You type in a prompt, and boom, just a few seconds later, you've got exactly what you need. It honestly feels like magic. It's instant, it's digital, it feels completely weightless. But behind the screen, a very real, very physical process just kicked into gear. One with a hidden cost we almost never consider.
So let's really dig into that. What's the actual real-world price for that bit of digital magic? The answer might actually shock you. And it all starts when you compare it to something we do all the time.
Just look at that difference. It's staggering. A single query on an AI platform can use about 10 times more electricity than a regular Google search. Now, one query might not sound like a big deal, but think about it. When billions of us start making billions of these queries, that difference, it adds up, and it adds up fast. AI is amazing, no doubt, but it has this massive and mostly invisible appetite for energy.
So just how big is this invisible price tag we're talking about? Let's be clear, this isn't just a small uptick in our power bills. We are looking at a future where AI's hunger for electricity could actually compete with the needs of entire countries.
Take a look at this number, 130 terawatt hours. I mean, what does that even mean, right? It's so big, it's hard to wrap your head around. So to really put it into perspective, let's see what that actually looks like on a global scale.
And there you have it. That's the scale we're dealing with. By 2026, and that's just around the corner, AI is on track to use as much electricity in a year as the whole country of the Netherlands, or Argentina. So the question becomes, why? What is it about this technology that makes it so incredibly power-hungry?
Okay, let's pull back that curtain and take a look at what's happening on the inside. The reason AI uses so many resources isn't some accident. It's baked right into the way these incredibly complex systems are designed and operated.
It really boils down to these four things. First, we're talking about trillions of calculations for just one answer. Second, the data centers where these things live are running nonstop, 24/7. Third, all that computing power generates a ton of heat, so they need constant, heavy-duty cooling. And finally, you have system redundancy, basically backup systems that are also always running. But you know what? It's not just about electricity. There's another hidden cost that might be even more alarming.
Yeah, we need to talk about AI's water footprint. All those cooling systems that are chugging away around the clock, they don't just use power, they drink up enormous amounts of fresh water to stop those processors from literally melting. It's a resource cost we almost never hear about. Let's try to put a number on it. 700,000. It's a huge figure, but what does it even stand for? This isn't the water a whole company uses in a year. Nope, this is for just one single process. That's how many liters of fresh water it took just to train a single model, GPT-3. We're talking enough water to fill an entire Olympic-sized swimming pool. And remember, that was a model from 2020. Today's are way, way bigger. And that's just the one-time training cost. The day-to-day operations are just as thirsty.
I mean, look at these numbers for daily operations. They're just staggering. In 2022 alone, Google used 5.6 billion gallons of water. Microsoft, which powers ChatGPT, used 1.7 billion gallons. And here's the kicker. A lot of these data centers are built in places that are already struggling with water shortages, putting them in direct competition with local communities for an essential resource.
So you've got this massive energy draw and this huge water consumption. And when you put it all together, it translates into one thing: a really significant and fast-growing carbon footprint. The environmental impact here is very, very real.
This quote from a 2019 study just puts it in the starkest terms possible. The carbon pollution from training just one big AI model can be the same as the lifetime emissions of 5 cars, and that includes manufacturing the cars. And I have to say it again, that study was based on models that are now considered pretty small by today's standards.
And the demand is just growing like crazy. Right now, data centers are responsible for about 1 to 2% of all the electricity used in the world. But projections show that AI could push that number up to 3 or 4% by 2030. Here's the really uncomfortable truth. Our transition to green energy is struggling to keep up with how fast AI is growing.
Okay, so the situation is obviously pretty serious. And that brings us to the most important question of all. What on earth can we do about it? The way forward is going to take real action, both from the tech industry and, well, from us. Right now, the industry's response is, well, it's a mixed bag.
On the one hand, you see some good things happening. There are pledges for carbon neutrality, big investments in renewable energy, and research into making the models more efficient. But on the other hand, there's a whole lot of secrecy around the actual energy data, and a heavy reliance on carbon offsets, which, let's be honest, doesn't actually reduce the strain on local power grids.
So what can we do? As the people using these tools, we actually have a role to play. It's not about stopping our use of AI, but just being more intentional about it. That means using really specific, efficient prompts to get the right answer on the first try. It means supporting companies that are actually open about their environmental impact. And it means speaking up and advocating for more regulation and transparency.
But look, individual actions alone aren't going to cut it. We need bigger, systemic changes. That means things like mandatory reporting on energy and water use for AI companies, kind of like the fuel efficiency standards we have for cars. It means investing in brand new renewable energy projects to directly power these data centers, not just buying credits. And it means making efficiency, not just raw power, a top priority when developing new AI.
And that really brings us to the final question. AI has this incredible promise to help us solve some of the biggest problems humanity faces, even climate change itself. But we simply cannot afford an AI-powered future if that future is built on a foundation that's totally unsustainable. The AI revolution is absolutely here, but a sustainable one, well, that's not a guarantee. That choice is up to us.